Good morning, dear students. Welcome in social science class. Dear students, we have already started the chapter 5th of Geography, Water Surrounding the Earth, in which we have completed the process of water cycle. And the next topic we have the various movements of ocean water, in which we will cover the waves, ocean currents, and tides. Today we will go through over the theoretical section, and the map we can discuss in the next video. Very important map it is, related to the cold currents and the warm currents. And we will start today's topic from the different theoretical sections like waves, ocean currents, and tides, what exactly they are. So let's start today's topic. When we throw a pebble means small pieces of stone in a river or a pond. Sometimes the kids also are playing and they are throwing pebbles or stones in the pond or somewhere in the river, and they are just observing and they're just enjoying the ripples on the water. Similarly, on the sea coast, we can observe the rolling waves of the sea water. Just like look at the picture here, we have the sea waves. They are the movements of the water. What causes their movement and from where do these ripples originate is the question exactly. How these ripples originate from the water. Let us study about these movements. These movements in ocean water are basically of three kinds, as I have already told you, that waves, ocean currents, and tides. Let us discuss in detail. First, we have the waves. What exactly the waves are? These are the movements in a water body where water particles move up and down. It is a different rotation of movement, we can say that, of the water in a particular direction, but it is just because of the wind. It is important to note that water actually does not travel with the wave. This is like a ball thrown in the water. The ball keeps on moving up and down along with the wave. This rhythmic movement of water particles produces a pattern of different layers in the water, and it originates the different ripples in the water. And just because of the heavy flow of the wind also, it can move in different directions, which generates the ripples in the water, which can be seen as waves. The height of the waves depend on the speed of wind. The height, how much is the height, whether it is quite high or whether it is not. Sometimes what happens, the waves are just moving in a very slow manner, but sometimes what happens, when the pressure of the wind is quite high, their ripples can be increases very fastly and in very big ratio. The waves depend on the speed of wind and the duration of wind blowing from a particular direction. Together, it determines the size of a wave as well. Do you know nowadays energy of waves is harnessed to produce electricity also? Just we can say that the tidal energy also we can say that, or when we are using the hydroelectricity also, just because of the water as well, renewables sources of energy we have. Now next we have the ocean currents. The ocean currents is a continuous movement of mass of water from the surface in a particular direction. These are of broadly two types, the cold currents and the warm currents. Cold currents, they are quite heavy, that's why they sink more rapidly, and warm currents, they are lighter as compared to the cold currents, and they evaporate it. They can't travel upward. Cold current, they can travel downward, and warm current, they can travel upward. These are formed due to the heating and cooling of ocean water. We know that cold water is denser than the warm water just because of their heaviness. Due to the higher density of cold water, it sinks down below the warm water. Yes, whenever we have the cold water, we always found cold water below the warm water. Just like we can see when we have the hot water and when we are boiling the water boils from the upper as compared to the bottom. Thus, the cold water of the polar region. Look at here, the polar region, we have here cold water, and near equator we have the warm current just because of the high temperature of these areas. The, the cold water of the polar region moves slowly towards the equator. It moving from here to here. The direction is just like in this manner, moving towards the equator, and the warm currents, they are moving towards the polar region. Towards the equator, along the bottom of the ocean, the warm current near the equator moves along the surface of the ocean towards the poles. And on the other hand, the warm currents, the red arrow is showing the warm current and the blue arrow is showing the cold current. The whole current, this diagram, major ocean currents, we will continue in the live sessions as well as in different video, because a very important topic it is. So it can be explained differently in different video. And in this manner, ocean currents are caused. We will discuss each and everything of this map, whether what is drift, whether what is stream, what is equatorial counters, each and everything we will discuss in next video. In the given map, you can observe the distribution of some major ocean currents in the world. There are different ocean currents. All right. These currents tends to move towards the right in the northern hemisphere and towards the left in the southern hemisphere. Towards the right northern hemisphere, and towards the left in the southern hemisphere, just because of their heaviness and just because of their lightness. Generally, warm currents flow along the east coast of the continents. Warm current, east coast. Coast means the coastal regions near the water areas. These are the coastal regions. These are the coastal regions near the water. Generally, warm currents flow along the east coast of the continent. These are the continents, we can say that. We have the continents, the North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, and Antarctica. These are the continents, and these are the coastal regions. While cold currents flow along the west coast of the continent, and east coast of the continents. Next, we have the ocean currents play an important role in influencing the climate of the coastal regions of the continents. If a warm current passes along the coast, it raises temperature. When it is moving towards the polar region or the coastal region, the temperature will be increased over there and the surrounding will be warmer. Similarly, on the other hand, when cold currents, these currents, when they are moving towards the up, warm currents cause rainfall and therefore influence its climate, making it warm and moist. The cold currents, on the other hand, tend to make the climate cool and dry because they are more colder, we can say that, as compared to the warm current. Thus, these oceanic currents modify the climate in the coastal regions. Another interesting characteristics is that the confluence when they're meeting together, the warm current and the cold current, they are meeting together, then these areas are getting the fishing grounds. You can see that here we have the Grand Banks fishing ground, the Dogger Banks fishing ground, the Northeast Asia fishing grounds, different fishing grounds where the cold currents and the warm currents, they are confluencing together. And it provides ideal condition for the plentiful growth of planktons. Planktons are the food of marine life. Marine life means the living organisms found inside the water, or aquatic life, we can say that, like fish, like other water aquatic species. These areas serve as major fishing grounds, encouraging trade and commerce as well, because somewhere when we have the fishing grounds, they can provide trade and commerce. And on the other hand, the ocean currents also help in navigation as well. Next, we have the tides. Tides are the periodic rise and fall in the level of ocean water. Yes, tides are the periodic rise and fall in the level of ocean water. They are caused due to the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun. It is it occurs two Next, tides occurs twice in a day, in the interval of 6 hours 30 minutes. The time interval between a high tide and a low tide is 6 hours 13 minutes. Two times in a day it occurs. It is a high tide when the level falls, and it is a low tide. Sometimes high tide enables big ships to enter the harbor because the tides the ratio of the water can be increased within a moment, and that time what happened, the ships are not able to enter in the harbors. Kolkata port in India is an example of tidal port. Nowadays tidal energy is harnessed to generate electricity in coastal areas. Tidal energy is also the important renewable source of energy. It is a very important topic. We can say that we can discuss in different manner in life class. Here we have example Haji Ali Dargah located in Arabian Sea in Mumbai. The live example of high and low tide. One can see the Dargah only when it is low tide. Because when we have the high tide, the water level is quite high, and the people are not able to enter over there. That's why whenever the low tide is there, then only one can visit in the Dargah. Next, we have the importance of oceans to man and the case study of tsunami. This we will do in the next video. We will continue this video. Thank you.